Are you thinking about wild camping solo and have never done it before, or have tried it and got a little bit freaked out? Then here is my top 5 tips on overcoming the fear of wild camping. Let's go! Hello, long distance hikers and long-term world travelers. Russ here, bringing you the best tips and inspiration for hiking around the world. Wild camping can be an extremely daunting prospect if you've never done it before. It is really weird at first, and the first time I tried it, I ended up having to stealth it over someone's fence into their field. It was really close to where the property owner's house was. My tent got surrounded by pheasants making loads of weird noises. It was chucking it down with rain, and I found it really weird. How you go about setting up your camp when you first start wild camping is a really important thing to master, so check out my top 5 tips on wild camping video. It should be in a card just up here somewhere. But this video is all about how to overcome that initial fear and how to really enjoy wild camping solo. Okay, so tip number 1 is to actually go out and start wild camping and start practicing. I know it's a very obvious point to make, but as soon as I got out there on my Todd and started practicing, I started feeling a lot more confident. Once I did it once, I knew what to expect. I know exactly how I felt, and until you do it for the first time, you're not gonna know what it's like. Okay, so tip number 2, and that is to figure out exactly what it is you're afraid of. It might be that you're afraid of getting caught. My advice is don't be afraid of getting caught. In the worst case scenario, if you get caught, you'll just get asked to move along, and all you have to do is pack up camp and find the next suitable campsite nearby. I personally have never been caught wild camping on people's property in the hundreds of miles that I've hiked and wild camped. But the likelihood of it is, if you explain yourself very well and you're very polite to the person, whoever it is that is trying to get you to move along, you're going to be absolutely fine. Nobody's going to come at you with a freaking gun or a machete. You've just got to be polite and explain yourself. Maybe you're afraid of animals at night coming around your camp, and if you're in the UK, there's absolutely nothing out there that's going to come to your camp and try and kill you or eat you in the night. You're going to be absolutely fine on that point as well. Most of the time, any animals that come to your camp, they're just inquisitive or they can smell your food. The most likely thing that's going to get into your tent is a rat or a mouse or something like that, because it can smell your food, and that is about it. As for creepy crawlies, I mean, that's just something that you've got to get over. I mean, like a spider or a beetle or a fly, nothing's gonna hurt you at all. Of course, if you're in the USA, there's things like bears and cougars and snakes and things like that, and there are a lot of resources out there and here on YouTube that can help you with dealing with animals like that as well. I personally have never hiked in the USA. I'm planning on doing the PCT this year, but I've read up a lot about those types of animals, and I think I'm quite well prepared. And my last point on that is, if you admit to yourself exactly what it is that you're afraid of with regards to wild camping, you'll find it a lot easier to overcome when you actually start practicing. Tip number 3, and that is evaluate each of your wild camping experiences. If something went really wrong, then write it down and think to yourself, how could I rectify that issue if it happens again? If something went really well on your last wild camping experience, write that down and try and replicate that same experience in your next wild camp. Write things down like how you could have set up your camp better and faster, and if you struggle to find a really good campsite, figure out how you could have found a better campsite the next time. If you got caught, ask yourself why you got caught, and if you really enjoyed a campsite, figure out a way to replicate that same experience. Another point which is very important, if your setup is very difficult to set up and it takes too long a time, switch out your gear as fast as you possibly can and find out ways to get a better setup. Set up your camp faster, and you'll be much less likely to get caught in the long run. Okay, so tip number 4, and that is embrace the bad times. You're going to be setting up camp in the rain, in the dark, in the mud. It's not a very pleasant experience, but there's a reason why we all do this, and that's to put ourselves out there, have a really good time in the wild, and grow as a hiker and traveler. Just practice in the cold, in the wet, and in the mud. You'll get toughened up over time, and you'll start to enjoy it a heck of a lot more. Okay, my final tip, which is tip number 5, and that is to fall in love with your surroundings. Wild camping is so amazing because you get to enjoy the peace and quiet and solitude in these beautiful, amazing environments. Nothing beats waking up in the morning with a beautiful sunrise over this fantastic landscape with nothing but the sound of birds around you. It's absolutely amazing and I love it. You'll quickly start to realize that with every wild camping experience that you have, you'll build up all of these incredible memories on your own that nobody else could possibly understand. You'll never be able to explain to everybody how incredible it was that morning that you woke up with that sunrise that you'll just never forget. On the South Downs Way, there were 2 or 3 sunrises in the morning that I just will never forget how amazing it was to unzip my tent and look out across this incredible landscape with just nothing but wilderness around you. You'll be like a lone ranger lost in the wild, surrounded by nothing but beauty, and build all of these incredible memories. You'll very quickly start to realize that wild camping isn't scary at all. Nobody can take those memories and those experiences away from you, and that's why wild camping is one of my favorite ways to sleep on the trail. Okay guys, campfire question. What is your biggest wild camping fear? Let the trail hunter community know in the comments section below. We'd really love to hear from you. Okay everyone, thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked it, hit that thumbs up. Be sure to watch both of the videos to my side here. If you haven't already, do consider subscribing to my channel for more videos just like this one, and I'll see you guys in the next one.